All right. Hello, hello. I know it's been a minute since I've done a live stream. I've been kind of busy with, life in general. But this is something that definitely needs to be shared. I came across this. I'm going to be looking into it, and we're going to be discussing this more for sure. It was an article I found on Reddit, the West Virginia subreddit. For anybody interested, let's see. The source is bdtonline.com, and it says West Virginia House approves controversial water quality rules bill. The more I read this, the worse it got. It's really bad. All right, so the West Virginia House of Delegates on Tuesday passed a rules bill that includes a provision opposed by advocates for clean water. No real big surprise there. They do that a lot. Um, Now, it says the West Virginia legislature approved rules proposed by the State Department of Environmental Protection last year. The West Virginia DEP released a proposal to update about 60 water quality standards based on recommendations the Federal Environmental Protection Agency made in 2015. The standards specify concentrations of pollutants known to have human health effects, including cancer-causing chemicals, allowed in rivers and streams. For the majority of the standards, less pollution would have been West Virginia waterways. Sounds great, right? But in November, the West Virginia Manufacturers Association asked the Joint Rulemaking Review Committee not to implement the standards. And here's where it goes downhill real fast. So far, nothing abnormal. It should be, but, they argue that the EPA encourages states to incorporate state-specific science, and that because West Virginians are heavier, their bodies can handle more pollutants, and that because they drink less water, they are less exposed to the pollutants. They have commissioned a worker to gather that state-specific information. So, and that's no secret. I mean, you can look up the health statistics. Yes, West Virginians, on average, we are bigger, we're fatter. All right. But that comes from poverty, um, lots of different reasons. Poor access to food, not knowing how to eat right, stuff like that. I'd like to see their source of information regarding we drink less water, but okay. Is that not an absurd statement, though? Absolutely absurd. Hey, you're fat, your body can handle it more. That has nothing to do with uh, what chemicals, because that would have no effect whatsoever on the chemicals that they're going to put in our water. Cancer causing chemicals, it doesn't matter what size you are, your body doesn't deal well with mercury or lead. So what the fuck are they talking about? It makes no sense, but they don't have to make sense because they're the ones with the money. They are the ones with the access to our politicians. So it doesn't matter. They could talk out their ass all day. It's not going to matter. They don't have to have science. These are, mind you, these people that have our politicians' ears are the same people that also said there was a high rate of birth defects and miscarriages and cancer near these coal mining companies. They said, have you ever considered the possibility of consanguinity, which is just a big fancy word for inbreeding? So they don't have to have facts on their side. All they have to do is make fun of us because, hell, the rest of the United States does already. And they can get by with it. And we allow it because jobs. And I'm going to get to that part. Woo. The Joint Rulemaking Review Committee agreed to the Manufacturer Association's request. Another legislative committee put the stricter standards back in, but last month, the Senate Judiciary Committee voted to give the Manufacturers Association until October 2019 to gather more state specific information to present to the DEP in hopes of altering the proposal and considering the bill during the 2021 legislative session. Oh, hey! Zuan Politicon's here. Good to see ya. Hope you're doing good, hon. Oh, that's so good that you were here. Derek Schaefer, we got Nash. All right, that's awesome. Sorry, I'm like so in the zone with this. I forgot to say hi to everybody. All right, so where was I? The economic impact of implementing the standards is unclear. Advocates for clean water have said Dow Chemical has threatened to leave the state. Bye. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I mean, what? Oh, we can't poison you, so we're just going to leave. Oh, how is that going to work? How are we going to have workers, companies, when everybody's dropping dead of cancer? And hell, we're too fat and out of shape to work anyway. So go on, take your companies, get out of my state. If that's what they have to offer us, we don't need it. We don't need it. Since when is this a thing? Like, why is this a thing? Like, well, we have to get cancer. I mean, I got to put food on the table so I can, I got to make so I can pay for my kids' cancer treatment. And we do have a really high rate of cancer. We have an extremely high rate of even childhood cancer. It's insane, but we got to make money, got to have those jobs. We're still living dirt poor. We're still dead last. They can tote all these figures about our GDP and all this stuff. Bottom line, we don't see a fucking cent of it. Bottom line, we still have people dropping like flies from cancer. We still have people in poverty. We still have chemicals and poison in our water. We're bathing in it. We're cooking with it. We're drinking it. But it's okay because we're all just fat and we can handle that, right? I would love a chance to talk to these people. Please explain your fucking science on this. Because last I heard, how does being overweight help your health? How does that? It comes down to like your liver and stuff like that can process this stuff. And these chemicals that they're putting in our water, no, even somebody that's in perfect health or according to their standards, 500 pounds could filter that kind of thing. It's preposterous. See, Dow has not returned reporter calls, of course, but was apparently ready to testify and wasn't called on during a committee meeting, according to the Charleston Gazette-Mail. In response to an email seeking more information on the economic impact, Rebecca McPhail, appropriate name, president of the West Virginia Manufacturers Association, said, "Of course, when you talk about regulations that require significant capital investment in order to comply without demonstrated health environmental benefit, companies will carefully consider future operations relative to production in other states which take an equally protective but balanced approach." Hey, if you don't let us poison you, somebody. I am seething mad about this. And nothing is going to change with the current system. I don't care who we vote, how we vote. Go ahead, vote Democrat. Go ahead, vote Republican. Go ahead and keep voting. It's not going to change. We have to, we cannot work within this system and expect results. It's not going to happen. Because they aren't even, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even trying to use facts or science or anything. They're not trying to hide their dirty work. It's right out there out in the open. We are seeing this right now. It wasn't an oopsie, we accidentally, let me just pay $10,000. Nope. Well, we'll just take our business elsewhere. Meanwhile, Michael McCauley, an environmental health professor at West Virginia, let me just back up for a second here. I know I'm ranting, I'm pissed off. Hey, Forsaken. But they're saying without demonstrated health or environmental benefit, there is a mountain of evidence to show that putting harmful chemicals into people's water is bad. It's bad. It's bad. It causes cancer. It causes health problems. And it's also a contributing factor to obesity. There's been studies done on that. So it's just a problem that feeds itself, apparently. Hey, live the dream. Okay, so this guy, Michael McCauley, professor, environmental health professor at West Virginia University School of Public Health, as well as a professor at WVU's Cancer Institute, has said that any amount of a carcinogen can be cancer-causing and that heavier bodies may already have other problems like inflammation that increase the risk of cancer. Exactly. Exactly. During the debate Tuesday morning, Delegate Mike Pushkin, Democrat from Kanawha, noted he represents the Chemical Valley, but jobs began. No, he doesn't represent Chemical Valley. He represents the people here. He doesn't represent Chemical Valley. He represents me. He represents my kids. He represents my neighbors. He doesn't represent fucking Chemical Valley. And there's going to be a lot of cursing in this one. I've been trying to watch my language, but they got me riled up. But jobs, let's see. He noted he represents the Chemical Valley, but jobs began to decline long ago before the Obama administration set out to strengthen environmental protections. I think what we're going to do, be left with, is a high cancer rate and a high unemployment rate, he said. Makes sense. John Schott, Republican from Mercer, and Jeff Foster, Republican from Putnam, stood in support of the bill, noting that the water quality provision was part of an overall rules bundle with numerous other provisions. I don't care what kind of carrot they're putting in there, it's not worth it. And it's not going to be a carrot for us. You know it. Delegate Evan Hansen, a Democrat of Monongalia, who had attempted to amend strengthen water quality protections into the bill Monday, has said that the DEP would give companies years to comply with new standards. The bill had already passed the state Senate. It passed the House of Delegates 78 to 22. So it's passed. And it's ridiculous. Now, most people won't even know about this. They won't even find out about it. Not that it really changes much of anything. I mean, before they were breaking a law, because they still dumped all that stuff in our water anyway. They were breaking a law and then getting a slap on the wrist with a little minor fee, which is far less than what it would have cost them to dispose of this stuff properly. But now they don't have to pay anything. And hey, until we start dropping dead of cancer, we got a job, right? Or a couple people do. And of course, they're never held to that standard. Nobody ever goes in. They promise jobs, they pass the laws, and then nobody goes back to double check whether or not jobs were produced. Not that it's worth it. You know, I'm at my wit's end with this state. I am livid. I am sick and tired And yeah, I mean, I do drink the water, so probably literally sick. So I live right across the street, across the river from DuPont. You know, a lot of good they did my community. Look at all the jobs we have. And it's not like nobody's strung out on drugs or living in poverty. We're all just flourishing and cancer free. I mean, Jimmy was amazed when he saw the state of people here. He's used to like California people, and he came over here and he's like, I saw a guy today that was like 40 and he looked like he was 70. I was like, yeah, that's what happens when you live here. He's like, what is going on? Why is this happening to people? Like he's seeing all this stuff. It's like, wow, it looks like the Walking Dead around here. Why, people are aged far beyond their years. I'm like, well, think about it. Poor nutrition, chemicals in our air, water, and soil, poverty. We don't have access to our basic health needs. And then you add year upon year upon year of stress and poverty and just fighting to survive, and it takes its toll on you, you know. And this is what you're left with: a bunch of broken people, just destroyed physically, mentally, emotionally, you know. And what are we going to do? And we just don't have the strength to fight it anymore. Most people don't. They can barely summon the strength to keep going every day without fighting this giant, unstoppable monster that is government and corporations, is fascism. Just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. We've given up on ourselves. We've given up on our future. We've taken scraps. We've been beaten down. And it's so normal. That's the most hideous, terrifying part of it, is it's so normal. Nobody questions why all these chemical corporations are along our river. I mean, wouldn't it make sense to have that away from the river? But no, they're stationed right next to the river. Isn't that something you'd want to keep away from our drinking source? Instead of right there where all their stuff can just accidentally spill into it, But that's the world we live in. Hey, EndaFed. And it's normal. I never questioned any of these chemical companies that were in my backyard. I never questioned coal. I never questioned. This is just life, right? This is what you do. And it's not. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. Not having health care, not having a living wage. All this is so normal. We don't even realize we should be pissed off about it. But no, instead, we're going to get angry at the Democrats, or angry at the Republicans, or angry at, Muslims or Mexicans or China, Russia, whatever the fuck it is. It all comes down to people that have money and power, one and the same, and the people that don't. And that's where we're at. And people, I explained this to somebody at work the other day. They were asking me, like, well, what's the difference between a Republican and a Democrat then? I was like, nothing. They get money from the same people. They vote yes on the same laws. What's the difference? There isn't. One's a paid loser and the other one isn't. And like I said, it's, most people aren't even going to know about this bill. They're going to be taking their kids to cancer treatments. That is, if their parents haven't already dropped dead of cancer or drug overdose or something, or crushed to death in a coal mine. They're not going to know a damn thing about the people and what's actually doing it. Which is why I do what I do. hopefully I'll reach some ears out there. You know, and I'm angry. I'm angry, but you know, anger is just depression with enthusiasm. And this shit's depressing. It's hard to stay positive all the time. And I get in my ass kicking modes, but damn, you hear stuff like this, then it just happened. I mean, I didn't even know about it before it even passed, but as of late, I haven't been as glued to my screen research and stuff as I was. But and where do we start? Where do we start? People don't have the strength to barely go on. How do I recruit these people to fight this fight? I mean, it's going to have to get personal. It had to get personal with me. I had to take people in my family dropping dead of cancer. It had to take friends and relatives dropping dead from overdoses before I started researching. And I've got kids. I want to prevent that from happening. And I started getting in deep with this. So, really looking into, well, okay, so we have a drug epidemic. Well, what's behind the drug epidemic? What's the fuel on that fire? I don't want to slap some Narcan on it and call it good, or some Suboxone. And the root cause comes back to everything. Money and politics, they're bought, paid for, and they will keep screwing us. They will keep screwing us as long as that is in place, as long as that system is in place. Getting control of our election system, getting health care for all, reparations, any of this stuff that you care about, it's just not going to happen. And they're not going to listen to a vote. Not when it can be thrown out, changed. We're going to have to get in the streets. That's for damn sure. The crimes are GMO anyway. I needed that. That's dark, but Forsaken. I always say the Dems take as much as they can, then throw some crumbs while the Republicans take the rest and try to take away the crumbs too. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Y'all been doing anything going on up in your neck of the woods? Any progress getting made? Hold on. I'm going to go back to this. God. Yeah, and they just had the maybe a couple weeks ago, the anniversary of the Buffalo Creek disaster, which, God, there's been so much stuff I've been wanting to cover. It's just been working like a dog. But yeah, it's the anniversary of the Buffalo Creek disaster. It happened about 30 years ago. Because remember how we're supposed to trust the corporations? They're going to take care of us, provide jobs and all this stuff. Well, that's what happened. In Buffalo Creek had a sludge dam just full of chemicals and just all the excess byproduct of coal mining, and just sitting there in this huge dam. They knew it was constructed half-assed way. They knew it was going to break. Hold on. They knew it was going to break, and it busted, and it killed like 1,000 people, destroyed 17 miles, did millions in damage. Yeah. And those are the people we want in our state. But we're desperate and things. So I don't know. I'm going to think on this for a while. I'm going to dig deeper on it. But you know what? Another factor to this is it's not just strictly the. I really don't think that the reason that they passed this was because strictly the manufacturers association. I think it has more to do with because they're more bought off from big pharma here than anything else. That's one of the major fuels um, of the fire. And with all these chemicals in our water, hey, sick people are going to need treatment. They're going to need medication. They're going to need hospital stays, you know. So let's just pump as much chemicals as we can into our air and water. Um, so let's cause a drug problem that we can get rich off of, and then also get rich off of the supposed treatment for the drug problem. So I'm gonna get my redneck revolution started here. By God, I am pissed off. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. We'll get my red bandana and we are going to protest in front of the Capitol. We get somebody new. Oh, we got somebody new. Ben Farid Cheeto. I hope I didn't mangle your name. Hey. So yeah, I can't get down about this. I gotta maintain that anger, my righteous fury, and use it for a force of good to organize and to get information out there and to meet people and gather people together. So I remind myself of this because I start looking at everything, it gets overwhelming. So stay on point. We can do this. All right. I'm not losing the faith. So I will go ahead and end it here. I've already been yapping for 30 minutes. I got to get dinner on. I'm going to be using bottled water to cook with. Definitely not that tap water. All right, I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching. And if you have anything to add, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. And I'll try to put the link to our Discord in case y'all want to keep going or got any information to add. I'll put the link in the description for our Discord channel. I keep forgetting to check it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So I'm really bad about that. I usually check it I went like a couple months without checking it. And then I checked it a couple weeks ago. So I'll be staying a while. All right. See y'all later.